My name's Paul, welcome to Paul Perambulates. In this episode, I'm in the west of England, in Gloucestershire, walking in the Cotswolds. My start point is Rissington Road car park in Bourton-on-the-Water, postcode GL24 2DT, grid reference SP17092026, what 3 words, drainage, typist, gymnasium. I head north through the centre of Bourton and then take the Heart of England way to the village of Lower Slaughter. From there I take another path, the Warden's Way, through Upper Slaughter to Naunton. I cross over Naunton Downs and then turn southeastwards, following the long Windrush Way path along the bottom of the valley occupied by the River Windrush. At the end, I recross the A429, the old Roman road, Foss Way, and head back into the centre of Bourton. Total distance 17.6 kilometres. Total height gain 232 metres. Total walking time 4 hours and 51 minutes. Rissington Road car park in Bourton-on-the-Water. It's a weekday in term time, but it's pretty full. It's a nice day in the summer, so that's not surprising. It's pay and display. It's quite expensive. But at least it has some facilities. Bourton is known as the Venice of the Cotswolds, and this is why. The River Windrush flows gently through the centre of the village. It has a series of low arched stone bridges, the first of which was built in 1654 and the most recent in 1953. Its wide green tree-lined banks follow the high street and are home to a huge variety of restaurants, cafes, pubs and other outlets. This beautiful place is unsurprisingly a conservation area, and on any nice day, even a weekday in turn time like today, it gets extremely crowded. Away from the river, Bourton has plenty of other beautiful architecture to look at as well, such as the manor house here. The model village, built in the 1930s, is a 1/9 scale replica of the village as it was then, and apparently includes a model of itself. Nearby, but not directly on my route, is the Cotswold Motor Museum, an antique toy collection. Birdland, as well as hosting a wide variety of birds from around the world, has a model dinosaur collection. And there are a plethora of other attractions dotted around. What there are most of though is car parks, loads of them, all extremely busy. This village of 3,500 people attracts 300,000 visitors a year. That's nearly 100 tourists for every resident. Short part of this route follows the A429. Now why would we care about that? Because it was the original Roman road Foss Way, which ran from Exeter in the southwest up to Lincoln in the north. For 182 miles of it, it never deviated more than 6 miles from being completely straight. Bourton was a settlement on that road. The Latin word fossa means ditch, and there originally was a big defensive ditch when the Romans first invaded in AD 43. It's possible that the ditch was filled in to make the road. As interesting as Roman roads are, it's a relief to be off the A429. There's nothing that modern humans can't ruin with a load of cars, is there? And I'm now into the countryside on the Heart of England path. Pretty well signposted around here, so quite difficult to lose your way. Alongside the path from Bourton up to Lower Slaughter, we got this rather nice little stream running alongside the path. Accompanied by a lovely little weir as you come into the village. St Mary's Church, Lower Slaughter. Interesting fact about this one, the very top part of the spire is made of fiberglass, cunningly concealed. Dropped onto the top by helicopter in 1968. The village consists almost exclusively of beautiful limestone buildings straddling the River Eye. Named as Sclostre in the Domesday Book, slaughter derives from the Anglo-Saxon word slaughtre, marshy place. This is Collett's Mill. It was a working mill from the early 19th century until the 1960s. Powered not just by water but also by steam, as evidenced by the chimney. The bakery is still active and selling their wares right outside. Now out of Lower Slaughter and heading on the Warden's Way path alongside the River Eye towards Upper Slaughter. And finally out into what feels like proper countryside. Upper Slaughter, another magical Cotswold village, but once again lots of cars and lots of people. This is St Peter's Church, Upper Slaughter, built in Norman times, sympathetically remodelled in Victorian times. Fantastic example of the Cotswold limestone architecture. I seem to have escaped the tourist crowds now. I'm on a path continuing to follow the River Eye northwards. I think I could be dropped in here blindfold, and as soon as I'd seen a couple of buildings, I'd know I was in the Cotswolds. I think this is the high point of the walk, 217 metres. No specific name on the map. A very summery scene in front of me. In the background, rolling Cotswold countryside. In the foreground, swaying crops. On the way down to Naunton, more beautiful Cotswold countryside. Arriving now at another ancient village, Naunton, recorded in the Domesday Book as Newatone. No big car parks here. What effect will that have, I wonder? Naunton is indeed way quieter, and it's not hard to see why. Every bit as beautiful as the slaughters, just nowhere near as crowded. If you think you can hear pigeons, it's because of this. This is the Naunton dovecote, a real oddity, built in 1660. Currently having some work done around the front, so you have to come around the back of it. I'm sure that'll be complete by the time you see this though. Dovecotes were important in medieval and early modern times for food, not just the birds but their eggs, and the droppings were collected for fertiliser as well. The reason this one sounds so good is that right next to it runs the River Windrush with what looks like a little lock gate. (1660), the year of its construction, is an interesting one because that is the year of the restoration of Charles II. And one wonders whether the two things were connected. Just come over the ridge of Naunton Downs and about to drop into this valley along which runs the River Windrush, and we'll be picking up a path called the Windrush Way. Now walking along the Windrush Valley, there's something to be said for a nice valley walk. Ambling along on the flat, in the sunshine on a beautiful summer's day, surrounded by nature. Ordnance Survey map gives this part of the valley as the site of the medieval village of Lower Harford. Now, there's really nothing that I can see here to suggest that, unless you want to put some serious interpretation on some of these humps in the ground, which could have been earthworks, I guess. Little gap dug into the hill there. Could have been where a house was. Maybe. Probably not. Similar looking one up there. Got to hand it to archaeologists how they find this stuff. I am right by the River Windrush now. Following it along. It's a pretty slow running river, but every now and again it'll go over a little weir and make that beautiful running water sound that I love. Signs of the dismantled railway running along the ridge alongside the valley. It's turned into a very warm summer's day now. So I'm pretty glad to have the shade of these impressive trees as I continue along the Windrush Way. There's actually quite a long stretch of woodland along the side of the Windrush Valley, but I'm not complaining about that. Sun's beating down a bit and it's keeping me nice and cool. Easy to tell that I've climbed right up onto the side of the valley now, because I'm right next to another bridge from the dismantled railway that runs along the top. Being higher up on the side of the valley now, and having come out of the trees, I can actually see some scenery for the first time in a while. This is Aston Farm, clearly a working farm. Has an absolutely beautiful traditional Cotswold limestone farmhouse and barns. I've just crossed over the River Windrush now, and on the other side you get this little Aston Mill. Absolutely beautiful, classical Cotswolds architecture. I'm walking back into Bourton now, still alongside the River Windrush on my right. Again, loads of Cotswold limestone buildings here. Just an example here of how fanatical they are about new builds. It's obviously nearly brand new, but made of Cotswold limestone, of course. Obviously not a patch on the older ones though. Catching my eye on the way back into Bourton, St Lawrence's Church. Once again made of Cotswold limestone, but different architecture, and I don't really know enough to tell you what. Found it interesting though. Into the centre of Bourton now, still absolutely rammed with both cars and people. Cotswolds, Bourton-on-the-Water, the Slaughters, Naunton, Windrush Way. Difficulty wise, reasonably easy, 3 or at the outside 4, I would say. Had a bit of a problem with Bourton and with Upper Slaughter and Lower Slaughter. They are exquisitely beautiful places, but the problem is that a lot of people think that. I like to go to the top of mountains because they're exquisitely beautiful, but they're hard to get to. So there's not usually too many people there. Places like Bourton and the Slaughters are exquisitely beautiful, and they are very, very easy to get to. We saw the number of car parks in Bourton, and from there it's a very easy walk to the Slaughters. Contrast that with Naunton, which is every bit as beautiful, but very, very quiet. Why? Because you have to walk there, and not many people are willing to do that. The further away I got from Bourton and the Slaughters, the more I enjoyed the walk, to be honest. I absolutely loved Naunton and the Dovecote, and coming down the Windrush Way has been absolutely fantastic. Unusually, I'm going to recommend that you don't do the walk, or part of the walk at least. I'm going to recommend that you leave Bourton and the Slaughters alone. I think they suffer from an over-tourism problem, of which unfortunately I've been part of today, and I kind of regret that. I mean, they are very beautiful. I would, I guess, always recommend that you go along and have a look at them at some point, but then there is that problem, so that's a decision for your conscience. For the rest of the walk, I've had a beautiful day and I'd recommend that you come and do it. All maps and 3D fly-throughs provided by kind permission of Ordnance Survey through their excellent OS Online application. Big thanks also for all music used in this video to mixkit.co and upbeat.io. Specific song and artist credits can be found in the comments. These videos are designed to show you around the routes I walk in case you're considering doing them yourself. They are not designed to be any kind of hill walking training or guidance. If you need hill walking skills, obtain them in person from a reputable, qualified provider. Please don't attempt these walks without appropriate levels of fitness and equipment. If you don't have the required levels of knowledge and experience, only undertake them accompanied by somebody who does. You can find out more about me and my background and experience at my website paulperambulates.co.uk. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Paul Perambulates. If you did, please subscribe and share.